Finding purpose today is so hard for three main reasons. The first reason is that purpose in the past was a sign, not chosen. And so if your father was a smith, you will become a smith as well. If your father was someone who worked the land, your duty was to work the fucking land. And also with the internet, it comes the realization that there are so much different things that you can do out there, and you have all of these different desires and dreams that come from all over the world, okay, and comes in fruition to you through the internet. So you can see how many different choices you have. You have all of this choice, and it's very difficult to select something that you can dedicate to. In fact, the second reason is that we live actually in a very distracting world. In fact, we have a lot of different stimulus that we have during the day. It's very hard for us to stay alone in a room with our own thoughts if we don't decide to consciously do so. It's very difficult to pass some time nowadays without having some sort of stimulation. And so, by not having some sort of stimulation, it's hard to self-reflect and understand what your true core desires are. And the third, which is kind of maybe which is kind of controversial, and I find myself in this thing as well. The third reason, because it's so hard to find purpose nowadays, is because my generation, I'm 24 years old. I don't know if I'm Gen Z, something like that. I should be a Gen Z, I believe. We as Gen Z have a problem with commitment. We don't know how to commit anymore, because having a purpose means dedicating your time and energy into pursuing one thing, into pursuing something for a long enough period of time in order to discover this thing as much as we possibly can. This commitment means eliminating other possibilities and pursuing only one thing. And our generation has a problem with commitment. We don't want to give up our potential. We don't want to get married, because what if I found someone else who is more attractive, more intelligent, more wealthy, whatever. We don't want to lock ourselves into a career because, oh no, I don't want to bound myself to this thing for all of my life. But the problem is that you cannot find purpose by scattering your attention across different domains. At least this is what I found out true, because I've done judo for a long period of time. This was my sport, this was my life, and this was something I dedicated myself as much as I possibly could, and I sacrificed other things in order to dedicate myself to judo as much as I possibly could. And I wouldn't be able to develop this passion, wouldn't be able to develop all of this drive for the sport if I would have scattered my attention across different domains. So this is true for me. Maybe it's different for you. And to be very clear, I'm not against polymathy. I'm not against having more than one interest. I'm not saying that you should be laser focused on just one craft. What I'm saying is that you cannot have different crafts that have the same importance. I believe that you need to have a hierarchy. As in video games, you got a main quest, you have secondary quest, and third quest. Okay, I don't know how are they called in English, but you have a hierarchy of missions, and it's the same in life. You need to have a hierarchy, something that you're really committed to, and some things that you do for fun, some things that you do because they're interesting, but you cannot have everything at the same level. Also, the problem with purpose and the people that are searching questions about purpose is that it's probably because they have a misconception. They have an idealization about what purpose is. They see purpose as this big one thing that they find and they can commit and dedicate themselves to it for the rest of their lives. But it's actually not like that. Purpose is a layered thing, okay? It's something that you discover over time. It's like when you are into a video game, okay, when you complete a quest, it's not that the game is over. Once the quest is completed, you find another quest, you find another goal. Once you achieve a certain goal, you start to discover a new one, and a new one, and new one. So what I've done wrong in the past and what I believe maybe other people in my generation are doing is that they're searching for this big thing. They're searching for this life mission that they are going to accomplish, and everything would make sense in their life. I don't believe it works like that. In my experience, it didn't work like that. In fact, I believe that purpose is just a meaningful goal that drives your behavior on a day-to-day basis and helps to create a narrative to your life or meaning. And this goal should be more proximate, not so distant. It should be something very close to you. It should be something proximate, okay? You shouldn't think so far. You should have an eye to the future, but think proximately to you. And once you start moving proximately, you discover much more things to do and learn. So purpose is the goal that you should aim according to your stage of life, stage of development, okay? The purpose of an 8-year-old cannot be the same as the purpose of a 21-year-old. Cannot be the same of a 40-year-old, cannot be the same for an 80-year-old, all right? Purpose is different from stages of life development. This is what I found true. So, let's go to the next stage of this quote-unquote lecture. So, I have found myself, and once you found purpose, it doesn't mean that you are going to have it forever. You can find purpose, then lose it again, then find it again, find again your purpose, following it, understand this is not what you would like to do, and then discard it completely and find a new one. And I can tell you a personal story. When it was the summer of 2023 and I was finishing my last exams for university, I felt myself kind of lost because it was coming, one stage of my life was coming to an end, which was my education stage, okay? In November 2023, I would officially graduate in physical therapy, and I think it was very scary because I was finishing the study stage of my life. Then I should go and enter into the workforce, and I was filled with doubt and uncertainty about my future, and I asked myself what was the right thing to do, what is the thing I should dedicate myself to. And what helped me to figure out what to do was August 2023, when me and my friends walked for 7 days in the Italian mountains, and I was immersed in the nature with no phones, barely used internet, and was alone with my thoughts for a long period of time. And we were walking like a lot, walking like 8 hours a day, 6 hours a day, something like that. And I started observing what was going on into my head. And I thought a lot about how I would train when I go back home, the competitions that I will face, the kind of goals that I would like to achieve in my athletic journey, etc., etc. During these days, judo kept coming back. The thought of my sport kept coming back again and again and again. Like, you know, when you have a song that you cannot get out of your head and you find yourself singing it while you're by yourself, this was the same thing. And on the 5th day, walking with this heavy backpack in the sun of August, I understood what I needed to do. I decided that when I would graduate, I would spend a couple of years still training in judo, still trying to become the best athlete that I can possibly become, and then I will go to work full time. And I was able to make it for a period. Then my project kind of blew up, but I'm working, I'm cooking, I'm working on it to get back to it. But basically, I started to do what kept to my mind. I started to follow the thought that popped into my mind, and that made me feel the most aligned with myself ever. Okay, I after graduating physical therapy, I found out a part-time job so that I can pay for expenses and all the rest. And I was training 9 to 10 times a week. I was training a lot. I was doing judo, I was doing strength and conditioning, I was going to run because I wanted to improve as much as I possibly could as an athlete. And I can tell you, even though I was constantly fatigued, I perceived pain into my body for the high amount of training that I was going through, I've never been so happy and fulfilled doing so. It was the best moment that I felt. Okay, it was the most aligned that I was to myself. And in the steps for, I'm going to explain to you the process that I followed in order to understand what my purpose actually was. First, the first step is to make yourself the right questions, because you will not find your purpose by watching endless YouTube videos like this or by reading infinite amount of books. You gotta look inward, because you're searching for answers out there while the answers is inside you. I know that it sounds like a corny Instagram quote, but it's true. You have to find your answers inside, not in the outside world. So, what you should do is to ask yourself the right questions. What the right questions are, I have a couple of prompts and I can give it to you. Then you will be able to refine the questions as you do some more introspections, but it could be a good starting point. The first question I want to ask to you is, what is something around me that I would and could fix? Something really proximate that you would fix and could fix. The second thing, what is the thing that scares you the most? What is something that thinking about pursuing elicits anxiety into you? Which responsibility can you take on your shoulders? And what is something that bothers you about your environment? What is something that you really don't like about the things that you have around you? And it could be very simple as, I don't like my room. I would like to make it more cleaner. Okay, it could be, I know it sounds stupid, I know it sounds stupid, and it's not some grandiose calling to adventure that you would expect, but everything starts really proximately, and once you start fixing things near to you, you will start to move more outer of your same zone, and you will find your bigger calling, your bigger purpose to accomplish, okay? This is the first step, which is making the right questions. The second step is about incubation. So, have you ever experienced being in a shower or being on the toilet, and suddenly, while not doing anything in particular, an idea pops into your mind? Okay, the shower thought, the famous shower thought. If you ever experienced that, it's something that happens because you have a problem or a questions, and your unconscious brain works in the background trying to solve that thing for you. So imagine like a computer making an update, and you just have to wait until the update is over. You cannot use the computer, otherwise the update will not download. And your brain works the same. It sounds crazy, but your brain works the same. When you're not using it, it updates itself. It starts to work in an unconscious manner in order to make you perceive something that you need to hear, something that you need to understand. And as I said before, we live in a very distracting world, so this process must be intentional and conscious. You must say to yourself, I'm going to spend this X amount of time by myself, and I'm going to see what pops up into my mind. So whatever activities, even healthy one, like if you're doing bad habits, like let's say binge playing video games, scrolling social media, using drugs, it's not going to give you that insight. But also working out, writing, or working, doing productive things won't help you anyway, because you are using your system. You are not letting the computer doing the update. So what you should do, what I would do instead would be, or do some open-minded meditation, so sitting down on your ass and just seeing the thoughts, perceiving the thoughts that are going into your mind, trying to really pay attention to the content of your brain, what your brains tell to you. The second thing would be what I've done, which is a trekking vacation, so doing a pilgrimage, so walking from point A to point B for more days with no headphones, no phone, no headphones, no podcast, fucking nothing, just walking in silence and try to really pay attention to what you start thinking. And the third thing, if you're actually a fitness fanatic, which is kind of cheat code would be some zone 2 cardio with no music. So I like to run, I like to cycling, I like to swim. This is something that helps as well, because you're not really thinking about anything, you're just going on an autopilot, and your brain can upload the system anyway. So these are the three options that you have after making the right question, which is open-minded meditation, a tracking vacation, which I highly recommend. It was a great experience for me. Or zone 2 cardio with no music. These are the three things that you can do in order to extract what your brain is trying to tell you. And you might say, but all of that sounds boring. That's the fucking point. You need to be bored. Because with boredom, your brain starts to find new way to fight the boredom. And the first way to fight the boredom would be to search for stimulation. Once you are not giving stimulation to your brain will start to look for new, different forms to entertain yourself. Like, oh, have you ever thought about that essay that you need to write? Have you thought about this exam from university that you need to finish? Have you thought about pursuing that dream sports career that you would like to do? Have you tried this business? Have you done this thing that you perceived as meaningful, etc., etc.? You will start to have this thing popping out. The step 3 would be paying attention to this way that your brains tell to you to fight boredom, which is understanding recurring thoughts and extrapolate it, okay? Once you have passed a week or more by meditating daily, running, or passing 3 weeks in the mountains, as I've done in the past, you might find yourself having recurring thoughts about something. As I said, it sounds like a song that it cannot go away. It's like this song that you cannot take out of your mind. It's something that keeps coming back and coming back again and again and again. It's annoying. It's nearly annoying as how much you start to think about it. And in my case, when I was walking into the Italian mountains, it was about how to perfect in my judo, which competition I should aim to win, how to improve my strength and conditioning, whatever, all of this crap. And I found that my purpose was to express all of my athletic potential before starting to work full time. You understood that, you can see how my purpose is not something that will last forever. It's something that will be okay for a period of time, but man, after I will be 40, what the fuck should I develop about my physical abilities, okay? You can get it. Purpose is, as I said before, something that is aligned on your developmental age. It's something that should be according to your developmental age. And you gotta notice this recurring thoughts that haunts you, that literally haunts you, comes back again and again and again. And it should be annoying. It should kind of bothers you, all of this stuff. And if you don't experience that, you need to journal again. You need to explore different stuff. You need to see what gets you curious, okay? You repeat the step again and again. And trying to, if you have more than one ideas, journal it down. Literally write about the decision that you can make. And if you find you can find yourself by having, maybe, let's say, 2 decisions. Stas, I have 2 recurring thoughts that comes to me. There is thing A and thing B. What should I pick? This is the thing. So my answer would be, if you need to pick something, just throw a coin and pick one thing. And you might say, oh, but what if that's the wrong thing and it's not something that I really want to do? Well, you're going to find out quicker if that's the wrong choice by pursuing that rather than keep examining over and over again. So if you want to speed up the process, just pick one thing, act on it, and then move forward, understand, gain data, and learn how to pivot after that you have taken the choice. Because you are not going to understand if the right choice is the right choice if you're not going to pursue that as much as you possibly can. Because you're going to waste time and energy overthinking anyway. So at least by moving forward, you're going to extract more data about what should be your path. The 4th step would be, once you have this idea, once you have this recurring thought, you gotta make it very clear. And you need to set a goal. You need to set a SMART goal. By SMART, I mean something that is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant to what your original purpose or abstract thought is, and time contingent. This should be the 5 steps that you should accomplish in order to create a goal for yourself. And once you have the goal, you build a plan, you build the things that you need to do. Once you have understood what you need to do, it's all easy. The hard part comes before. So, in order to find your purpose, this is what I've done in the past in order to understand it and achieve it, is step 1, making the right questions. So asking yourself, what is something around you can fix or should fix? What's something that makes you curious? What is something that scares you and you would like to move forward anyway? Okay, these are the first thing to do, asking the right questions. The second step is about incubation. So you do some open-minded meditation, you walk for a lot, you understimulate your brain so that your brain comes up with new ideas in order to fill your time, in order to fight your boredom. This is the second step. The third step would be understanding what these recurring thoughts are and understand that really clearly. If you have 2 or 3 different ideas, just throw a coin, pick one thing, go full head on the stuff and figure out if this is the right choice or not. The fourth thing would be setting a precise goal, a SMART goal, and start taking action. I made some videos about SMART goals, but if you need some more guidance on it, if you need more help, you can book a one-on-one call with me for free, and we can talk about these topics. Together. Oh wow, very tricky sequence of words. Whatever. These are the ways that I found meaning, that I found purpose in the past. I'm still struggling with it. I'm not going to tell you this is the absolute solution to all of your problems, but this is how I found purpose for a certain period of time in my life, and how I'm proceeding in order to find my next layer of purpose as well. I'm trying to figure out stuff as I go, just like as you. I'm not a guru, I'm far from special, okay? I'm just trying to understand how things work in my mind and in the world. So I would like to chat with you, so you can book a one-on-one call with me, link in the description. It's free. I don't want to sell you anything. I just want to learn more from you and like to chat with like-minded people. So I hope that this video was useful. Remember to aim upward as always.